Yesterday, Steve Hartwell, lead singer of Smashmouth, went on to hospice, and today he has already died. Steve was only 56 years old, but he had end-stage liver disease. Specifically, he had cirrhosis of the liver, which was reportedly related to many years of excessive alcohol use. Some of the symptoms that Steve may have experienced at the end of his life as a result of his disease could have been jaundice, which is yellowing of the skin and the whites of the eyes. He might have had abdominal pain that could have been quite severe. Itching of the skin is fairly common. It's possible that he developed ascites, and that is a fluid buildup in the abdomen to where the abdomen gets extremely huge and can cause not only pain but shortness of breath. One of the worst symptoms that end-stage liver disease can cause is called encephalopathy, and that is when the ammonia levels rise in the brain, and it can make a person extremely disoriented and confused and even agitated. Steve spent his final days in his own home with his fiancé as his caregiver. As I said, he was on hospice, and here are some of the many ways that they would have supported both of them. A registered nurse would have educated his fiancé on how to care for him at the end of his life, and of course provided symptom management, including having a drain put into his belly if he did have ascites, and teaching her how to manage that so that he wouldn't have to go to the hospital and have that done. A social worker would have helped with advanced planning and counseling, especially for anticipatory grief. A spiritual care counselor would have helped with spiritual counseling for him, his fiancé, or any family member who needed it. A hospice aide would have taken care of personal care, such as bathing, shampooing, shaving, as well as teaching his fiancé how to do those things for him. And now that Steve has died, hospice will continue to support his fiancé and any of his other family members who need it or want it with grief counseling for at least a year after his death. Unfortunately, because he waited until the 11th hour to go on to hospice, all of those things that hospice can do would have had to be delivered very quickly, fly by the seat of the pants-ish. It was probably fairly hectic. Had he gone on to hospice earlier, there would have been more time to provide all the education and support that his fiancé needed, as well as to ensure his comfort until the end of his life. From the societal standpoint, it's detrimental in that this is yet another famous person who went on to hospice and then died really quickly. And that further perpetuates this false narrative that hospice causes people to die faster, when in fact there have now been multiple studies that evidence that when people go on to hospice, they can actually live longer. But Jimmy Carter is still alive, and he's been on hospice for more than 6 months, so there's still that.